Let's start with a completely inappropriate for this time of year perfume, only because I literally just got this. So I ordered a couple of things from Parfum Dreams, and they just had like a really good sale. I think this one was maybe 15 or 16 pounds, and the Nivea Sun perfumes, they're quite hard to get for under 20. And I think they've just changed their bottles to even bigger bottles, so they'll be even harder to get now because these are the old style bottles. Now this is the Eau de Toilette of Nivea Sun. I already have the original Nivea and I'm well into it. I think really like that perfume. So firstly, I'm going to have to explain because it kind of looks, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like I've already made a dent in this because this arrived, either this is a used bottle or it leaked. And I would say, I mean, there's kind of like a residue inside this box and I could smell it when it arrived. It wasn't in any cellophane. So I have complained to them and I've tried to, I'm trying to sort that out because, yeah, I mean, I don't mind if they give me a partial discount or something because it doesn't really matter. But I don't really want to pay for a bottle that's like already half empty. But anyway. This is such a pretty perfume, and yes, it does. It smells like a holiday, but it's not coconutty. It's like it's so hard to explain what this smells like, except to say I had such flashbacks because I don't think I ever really used Nivea Sun because I would always get things, to be honest, let's be real, that were a bit cheaper because Nivea Sun, not the cheapest of the of the SPFs for beach holidays. So I would tend to, and also quite often I will buy SPF when I'm already on holiday, so I don't have to take it in my baggage. So I'm not always, getting Nivea Sun or whatever. And if I buy it here, I tend to just get the little bottles of Malibu, because I quite like the Malibu scent. That one's definitely more coconutty. This, though, I obviously have known other people to use it. And in fact, it made me think of my sister. So I'm thinking when we've been away together somewhere hot, she clearly uses Nivea Sun because this smells like her. So the the original Nivea perfume smells like me because I used to use Nivea every day, twice a day. And my sister obviously used to wear this because it made me think of her. And it smells like a beautiful summery body cream. It honestly smells like a summer holiday. It's so cool. So they only list this as top notes of green notes, middle notes, solar notes and flowers, base notes, powdery notes. I know there's jasmine in here. I can tell there is. I also noticed that, it's just so fresh and lovely. It's not just jasmine though, so I think I will be able to wear this, but yeah, it's got a real body lotion smell. But it's, again, like, it just smells exactly what it's supposed to smell like. It smells like Nivea Sun. So it's amazing. But I did notice that Larive have come out with a perfume that's, the bottle's the same colour as this. I think it's called Solaire. And but like not like Solaire, like I think that's another body SPF. But I think it hasn't got the I in it. I think it's just Solaire. So yeah, I was going to try and get that one because I wanted to do a comparison for you, but it's sold out before I could get it. But anyway, just to let you know, I saw that for like £5 for, I think it was probably 100 ml. And it's been compared to this. So apparently it smells like this. But again, this isn't an expensive perfume. So if you can get it and you want to just be taken to the beach like at any time of the year, this is really impressive. So that was really, really fun, that one. So I wore that on Saturday morning. I was just testing it out because I'd only just got it and I was quite excited about it. And then for the rest of the day after my shower, I wore this one, which, okay, so this is Guess Seductive Red. I'll just read you the notes real quick. So top notes, cherry, almond, pink pepper. Middle notes, cherry blossom, magnolia and violet. Base notes, vanilla, tonka bean and sandalwood. And I do really love this perfume, but I have to say, it's getting a little bit harder to wear. Now that's not because of this perfume. That's because every day when I go to work or when I come home, because I work in central London, I work near Selfridges, and so I work right in the centre, in the shopping centre, where everyone goes for all the Christmas stuff and where they've got all the massive department stores with all the perfume counters. And I smell so many people now every day who have the Baccarat Rouge profile, you know, who smell like that. And this has the Baccarat Rouge profile, but it's not as medicinal. It's kind of, it hasn't got that kind of, it hasn't got quite the same doctor's office smell about it that Baccarat Rouge does, or that to a certain extent Cloud has, or that oh, what's the one I really don't like? You'll see it when I get my review up. The Zara one, Red Temptation. And I just increasingly every day smell at least 3 people who smell like Zara Red Temptation or Baccarat Rouge. So sometimes I think I can tell when it's actually real Baccarat, and I'm talking like on the tube through my mask. But I definitely smell a lot of people wearing that Red Temptation because I can recognise that weird kind of horrible fake cedarwood smell that I found in most of the Zara perfumes. So I think I'm really starting to get a bit bored of that particular profile because I smell it like every day, and because I smell the versions of it that I don't like as much as this one, it makes me feel a little bit like I don't really like smelling it. So I'm probably not going to wear this one quite as much, just because I don't really want to smell like everyone else all the time, and I don't want to keep being reminded of that kind of Red Temptation smell. But anyway, it's still lovely. I can sniff it now and be like, oh, it's so pretty though. But yeah, I might need to give it a little bit of a break until everyone's got over, because I feel like loads of people have probably been buying it in the sales or have been like testing it, you know, in the shops, Baccarat and Red Temptation, because there's loads of Zara's on Oxford Street as well. So anyway, so that was Saturday, and yeah, I mean, I just didn't enjoy wearing it as much as I normally do. I also think maybe I just enjoy it more out and about than I do in the house. Which is quite possible, because there's something about getting whiffs when you're out in the air, you know, rather than just sitting in it all the time. So staying with the Guess Seductive range, one of the reasons that I ordered from Parfum Dreams is so I could order this little tiny babe. I got this for like £9 something. This is just a little 15ml of Guess Seductive Noir. And I did say to someone in my comments section that I was planning to try this at some point because everyone talks about it. And I mean, it was pretty funny, to be honest, because firstly, it's a really cute little bottle, this. So cute. Little tiny 15ml, which I think has, I'm just going to do a little compare. Yeah, same size lid, ridiculously. But it's just a wee baby. This really actually made me laugh when I smelt it. Yeah, so I'll read you the notes, but this is, I think, considered a dupe for Montguerlain. So this is top notes of sage, bergamot, peony, middle notes of iris, jasmine, sambac, lily of the valley, base notes vanilla, velvet, and Haitian vetiver. Now, Montguerlain is a vanilla lavender scent. And I think this one, even though it lists sage and iris, I do think it still gives the general vibe of lavender. I think it still smells a bit like lavender, which is probably why it smells like Montguerlain. But I literally sprayed it and I was like, well, I've already got this perfume because I have something, yep, that smells almost identical, but I actually like better. And that is Chill Out by Oriflame, and it's the Feel Good from the Feel Good range. And Chill Out has 3 notes listed: lavender, vanilla, cedarwood. And that's exactly what this smells like. This smells exactly like this. This cost me £6 for, I think this is a 50ml eau de toilette. Doesn't necessarily last very long, but I quite like to respray it. I find this one really comforting. I really like it, but I also find it extremely unisex. The cedarwood in it kind of pushes it slightly to the masculine side, as I think the vetiver does in this. So I think that this one smells totally unisex to me, and it's so similar to this. So yeah, I mean, so similar, but I just find that this one is just prettier. I think the vanilla's nicer in this one. Yeah, I think the vanilla's a bit more obvious. I think this one's got a slightly more obvious sweetness that's very, very pretty. Yeah, so I mean, I don't need this one. I don't like it as much as this one. and you know, I don't need two perfumes that are basically the same smell. So yeah, so I guess Chill Out is a dupe, or to a certain extent, of Montgalon as well. So yeah, that was an interesting one. I was not expecting that at all, to be honest. But anyway, I was just, I'm gonna put the tiny baby there. I haven't worn a huge amount this week. So, oh, here we go. So that was, I wore this on Sunday morning, and then let me have a quick sniff I've been doing. Oh man, yeah, so sorry guys, it's very boring for you to just listen to me sniff things, isn't it? So then for the rest of Sunday, boof, I tested out this beast. So this is the Versace Crystal Noir. Now, I double checked, let me just check because I wrote it down. The EDT batch code of this is from June 2021. So this is definitely the most recent formula of this perfume. Okay, so let me take this out of the box. This is a ridiculous bottle and a ridiculous lid. So it's very silly. All right. So it's quite a small bottle with this absolutely excessively big lid. As you can probably see, it's got quite a purple colour on the lid of this one. This came from, where did the EDT come from? The perfume shop, I think it was, or the fragrance shop. I think I linked it in the last video when I talked about it, so that's fine. So this is the current EDT of Crystal Noir, okay? And I said in my last video that I had ordered this because I really liked this sample of Crystal Noir EDT, Eau de Toilette, and that has the notes that are blackcurrant, black fig, violet, tuberose, jasmine, frangipani, sandalwood, cashmere, and vanilla pod and heliotropine. Because I really liked the fig in this. I liked it. It smelled really soapy and good. Absolute beast. Lasted ages. This doesn't smell the same. So I'm guessing, even though, again, like that people will absolutely argue till they're blue in the face that the original version of the Eau de Toilette had the same notes as the other one, and this is like the reformulated notes or something. This does not smell very much like this. Now don't get me wrong, they all have kind of the same dry down, but this doesn't have that same fruitiness. It's nowhere near as strong. It's still pretty, it's still soapy, it's still lovely. It still has that overall weird sort of slightly coconutty vibe, even though there's not coconut in it. Do you know what I mean? And again, people really get angry about this. I don't understand why. It's like, just calm down. People smell different things. There are many perfumes that lots of people think smell coconutty that don't have a coconut note. You know, look at Katy Perry's Indie. That, to me, on my skin, smells like coconut cream. There is no coconut listed in that. It's to do with the musks, it's to do with all the other notes, all the things that mix together and just for some reason give a general vibe of coconut. And you only need to look at things like Baccarat Rouge and Cloud to know that perfumes don't have to have the same notes in to have the same kind of smell, like, or to give off a certain smell. Like, how do the notes in Baccarat Rouge smell anything like Cloud? On how does Cloud smell anything like Guess Seductive Red? They have totally different notes. So let's just try to be respectful of each other. And some people smell coconut and some people don't. So none of the Versace Crystal Noirs, as far as I know now, really seem to have actual coconut in. People again will say that the EDP doesn't have coconut in it anymore, but I think they all have a slight coconutty smell. So I'm just saying, this probably old sample, which is genuinely my favourite of all of them, smells coconutty. It definitely has a coconut smell about it, but it also smells like a bar soap. This also smells like a bar soap, slightly coconutty. I've also got this one on a little stick, but it's lighter. It's kind of a bit it's not as fruity as the little sample. It's a little bit maybe sharper. It's not quite as creamy. It's a bit more spiky. It's still really nice, but it's not as nice as the EDT that I've got in this little carded sample. It still lasted for quite a long time, but it definitely wasn't like a beast. Like, you could go a bit more ham with this one. It's still totally worth having. It's a really nice perfume, but as you will see later, I now also have the EDP, so I'm just going to compare them in a minute. I'm just going to try and push all these to the side because this is quite a big boy. So anyway, the notes for this one from Fragrantica, which are the same notes now for Versace Crystal Noir that you will find on the actual Versace website, and they only now on the Versace website have the EDT. I couldn't find the EDP on there, so I couldn't compare what they were saying for the notes. So according to Versace, these are the correct notes for Versace Crystal Noir EDT, and this is top notes of ginger, pepper, cardamom, middle notes of gardenia, peony, orange blossom, base notes sandalwood, musk and amber. And I don't find this one particularly gingery or peppery. I don't know. I think it just smells, again, it just smells like a kind of nice bar soap. I'm not sure I'd really think of this as being very spicy. I don't know. I'm a bit confused by all of the Crystal Noirs, and I don't think having a sample and two of the actual perfumes has really helped very much, if I'm honest. But anyway, then on Monday, I really didn't want to get up on Monday. I was feeling sorry for myself. It was cold, it was dark, it was absolutely weeing it down with rain, and I just wanted something really warm and cozy, so I went for this one. This is Levine for her, and this is a spectacular powdery, slightly vintage smelling sandalwood and magnolia. That's what I think this, like, slightly spicy, but in the dry down the main thing you get is vanilla, sandalwood and marigold, I think. So top notes of this are spices, marigold, saffron and citruses. Middle notes Australian sandalwood, Indian jasmine, rose petals. Base notes vanilla and benzoin. Again, if you really, really like a powdery, sweet sandalwood, you're going to love this perfume, I think. I don't think there's a way that you could not like this. But again, you have to try it on your skin. If you don't try it on your skin, it's not going to smell anywhere near as good. It doesn't really develop on the card particularly well, so it's definitely a put it on your skin situation. It needs the warmth. And yeah, so I was just feeling snuggly and cuddly all day, just wearing this. Just very warm, very nice. It's really good for quite cold weather, I think, this one. And then, because I needed a break in between the Versace Crystal Noirs, because I can't be wearing that all the time. Oh, this is so delicious. I am sad to say this was a limited edition, so it will be very difficult to get hold of this. This is Aqua, Colonia, Cotton and Almond. And this, yeah, I mean, it literally smells like what it says. It's like sweet almond and clean cotton, slightly laundry-esque. It's so pretty. Oh yes, it does actually list heliotrope. So it's got almond milk, heliotrope and cotton flower. That's what it lists for this. It's just really comforting, really pretty, really nice. Absolutely love this one. Oh. It's another one that's it's like very sweet from the bottle, but also has a slight sharpness. But I mean, it becomes very beautiful and sweet, but not cloying on the skin. It's just a really pretty one, and I wanted to smell kind of clean, but I didn't want to go full laundry. I wanted something that was a bit sweeter and a bit more comforting, so that's why I went for that one. It's just totally lush. And then I was just thinking about this. I don't know if I mentioned it recently, but I started thinking about it again. So back in with the old French Lavender and Tuberose from Vera Wang Embrace range. This is the one that honestly smells so similar to Maison Margiela Coffee Break, really similar. Its top notes are mandarin orange, middle notes lavender and tuberose, base notes vanilla and cacao, and it's just a very sweet, creamy, gentle lavender smell with like sprinkled in cacao, and in the top notes you get a bit of mandarin orange. It keeps it fresh. I mean, I don't really know that I would have guessed there was tuberose in this if they didn't tell me. Maybe a little bit. Maybe there is like that. Yeah, I guess so. You can kind of tell, but I think it's lavender is what I always think about, because it's super comforting and really pretty and sweet. So yeah, so that's an absolute classic. Let's just see what we can do here. So then let's move on to when I wore this. So Thursday. All right, this is the Versace Crystal Noir Eau de Parfum. Now, I also checked the batch code on this, and the batch code on the EDP is March 2022. So definitely, this is also the most modern version, the current version of Versace Crystal Noir Eau de Parfum. Now, the notes on this one from Fragrantica are top notes of pepper, ginger, cardamom, middle notes of coconut, gardenia, orange blossom and peony, base notes sandalwood and musk and amber. Now, let me just sniff these again. So, I'm now in a weird situation where this EDP, smells more like the carded sample of the EDT with the fig, like the fruity top notes, than the one than the current EDT, which doesn't list any fruity notes. And like, oh yeah, okay, so the current EDP notes don't list fruits either. But when I first sprayed this one now smells more figgy to me than this one, which honestly, it's so confusing. I think it's ridiculous. I wish Versace would just like be a bit more honest about what they've done with this perfume, and I wish Fragrantica had like a 2021 and onwards version of this, because they definitely, the EDT doesn't smell like that sample until the very deep dry down, and then all three of them in the very deep dry down pretty much smell like the same perfume, or at least they have the same kind of scent bubble. They've got that kind of really pretty sort of bar soapy smell, quite comforting but quite strong. This one just has more of a fruity, kind of spiky fruitiness to it. And again, I don't find it massively peppery or massively spicy. So let's take this one out. I also much prefer the bottle of this. So this is the 30ml of the EDP, and this has like a kind of browner lid. If you compare, this one has a very purpley lid. This one's got a kind of brown lid. I'm not really sure. The glass looks very similar though in colour. Yeah, I think the glass is the same colour, but the lids definitely have a different shade going on here now. So big old EDP can go over there. Much more sensible bottle. I much prefer this one, and I prefer the scent of this one. I wore it all day. It lasted quite well. I mean, I would say I put this on in the morning, and then I didn't need to reapply it until I left work, and I probably could have got away with not, but I don't know whether I just go slightly nose blind to it. I don't know. If I put my arm up to my kind of skin, I could still smell it quite clearly, but I think, yeah, I don't know that these are quite as beastly as they would have been back in the day. I know lots of people talk about them being very strong, and honestly, like this carded sample of the EDT, full beast. The current EDT is definitely not as strong as this, and definitely either I go nose blind to it or it doesn't last as long. This is still the nicest. This is my favourite, but sadly this probably is not one I'm going to be able to get because I don't know how I'd get it, so whatever. This is so close though that this is one I'm going to keep. I will just pass the EDT on to someone who wants it. And yeah, and also this just fits so much better. Look how much space that one takes up. I mean, I know this is a 50ml, but the size differential is quite kind of mental. I think it would have been more sensible to keep, I don't know, this is just so stupid, this massive lid. So yeah, so I think my personal taste, because I think it has more of a kind of fig vibe about it. I think it's got... it is still very creamy in the dry down. It's maybe not quite as sweet as this one, but I just think they're kind of so close. They're so similar in the dry down that it's only really when you first spray them that this one has more of a kind of tangy, fruity, slightly more spicy, but not mega spicy. I don't think it's super peppery, to be honest. No, I wouldn't describe it as massively spicy, but it's probably a bit spicier than this one. I think this one just kind of pips it to the post, but I'm not going to lie, it partly pips it to the post because it's a much easier to store and nicer bottle. And I probably don't need like a massive bottle of this, like a 30ml is going to do me fine. But I would happily wear either of these, but yeah, sadly, neither of them are quite the EDT from my carded sample, so it's a little bit of a bummer because I think that one was the kind of perfect kind of slightly figgy bar soap smell, but this one's pretty close. And again, like I said, these two dry down to pretty much smell like, to anyone else, they smell like exactly the same perfume. I think this one smells a little bit sweeter and softer on the skin. This one's a little bit more, but what I would say is if you're really prone to headaches from perfumes, the EDT is probably much easier to wear than this one because this one is a little bit more spiky, it's a little bit more tangy, it's a little bit stronger. So this is the kind of softer alternative, I'd say. But when I put them together, it's really hard to tell the difference once they've really properly dried down. They're so similar. So not much to worry about there. So I'm just going to keep this little one. And then yesterday I just wore this because I just fancied for some reason smelling like milk chocolate, and Jil Sander Sun Delight, I think, even though it's very synthetic, it has like a milk chocolatey smell when it dries down. Although I am just going to put it out there, I haven't worn this in cold weather before, and yesterday was quite cold, and I don't think this is as good in cold weather as it is in slightly warmer weather. It's too sweet and kind of synthetic for me to enjoy it when it's very hot sunshine. It's not something I'd ever wear to the beach or in like really intense sun, even though it's called sun. But I like this in kind of spring, cool summer and like early autumn. Really nice. But I think it's getting too cold, so it didn't bring out the chocolate so much as it normally does when it's cold, and it was more of the other things, and the slightly plasticky smell kind of hung around a bit more. So this is top notes of passion fruit, mignonette, Sicilian bergamot, and mignonette, to be honest, smells a bit lavenderish. So this, if you want to imagine what it smells like, passion fruit, mignonette and Sicilian bergamot with like a kind of plastic smell, like a weird plastic smell. Middle notes of vanilla, frangipani, dark chocolate, vanilla orchid. Base notes, musk, woodsy notes and cedar. And, you know, in warm weather, the dry down of this is basically vanilla-y, chocolatey, frangipani, kind of creamy. Smells like a cheap milk chocolate, and I kind of enjoy that about it, but it definitely retained a bit more of those kind of top notes in this colder weather. So I'll just, note to myself, just don't wear it in kind of when we're moving from autumn to winter, but when we're moving from like, summer to autumn, it still works. But yeah, so I'm not particularly mad for that one. And the only other thing I need to mention is that I also tested out, because I went to what's it called, the Body Shop, to get And I'll make a video of it because I'm trying to do lots of Christmassy stuff in December. I went on the hunt. I had to go to 3 body shops, in fact, to get their limited edition Christmas perfumes. And while I was in there, I was just having a little look around, and I was having a sniff of the different white musks. Now, I don't like white musk from the Body Shop, to be honest with you. There's something about it that I just don't get on with, and to be honest, I'm not massively keen on white musks. I much prefer like a kind of golden musk, like a darker kind of warmer musk, rather than a cold clean musk. And so I've smelt loads of them. Like, I don't like the ones that start getting really strong and syrupy and sweet, and I don't like, they had one, I think there's like in a turquoise bottle that was kind of fresh and pretty. I wasn't too keen on the blue one, and I wasn't too keen on, I definitely don't like the black one that they've got. But I had a sniff and I tried it on my arm of the White Musk Flora from the Body Shop. Now, the notes in that are listed as top notes of pink pepper, bergamot, peony, lily of the valley and musk. And when I first sprayed it, I was like, oh, that's quite pretty. But the more it dried down, it really started to remind me of kind of Misty or Blooming Bouquet, like the more recent version of that, and the Nude Bouquet, I think it's called, from Zara. It had that kind of very sweet, peony kind of, well, someone actually also compared it to La Vie Belle, but it doesn't have that patchouli strength. It's not like that sweet, it's not that syrupy, much fresher. So I think much more of a kind of Blooming Bouquet kind of smell. But it's like, I mean, I don't know, I think it's like 20 quid for a bottle of that. So it's not too bad in terms of affordability, and it lasted for quite a long time, way longer than any of the other white musks I've tried from the Body Shop. Normally, if I put one of the white musks on my skin, it lasts for like 10 minutes. The Flora version is quite pretty. If you like quite sweet, peony, kind of flowery smells, that might be quite a safe bet. If you like Misty or Blooming Bouquet, you'll probably like Flora, White Musk Flora. So yeah, so that's the one that I just wanted to mention because I did try it on my arm and I kept smelling it in the evening. I actually also sprayed Jimmy Choo Flash on my arm because I went to Superdrug and they were having their Black Friday sale, and I just really love the bottles from Jimmy Choo Flash range. I think they're absolutely just so cool. I love that they look like an old Flash cube. I think they're brilliant. But I sprayed that one on my arm because when I sprayed it in the air, I thought it was quite pretty. Sprayed it on my arm and it sort of got a bit more generic when it dried down. It wasn't as fresh, it wasn't as bright. But then, to be honest, I just couldn't smell it. It was on the other side of my arm to the White Musk Flora, and all I could smell was White Musk Flora. So yeah, that one's obviously a bit stronger than a lot of the other white musks, and it might be worth looking into if you like those kind of smells. But yeah, so this was my week. We're about to head into December and I've got so many awesome videos, some that are already made, some that I'm literally just about to make, with some more kind of festive stuff. I'm very, very excited. It's my favourite time of year. I absolutely love it. As soon as we go to December, 1st of December, on goes Ella Fitzgerald Swinging Christmas. I am in full Christmas mode. So yeah, come back and hopefully watch some of those. I'm not going to tell anyone to subscribe because that's totally up to you. But yeah, so that was this week. I'll be back with what I wore next week. And then, yeah, keep an eye out for all the fun stuff that's about to come up because December is starting next week.